Hi you guys, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out my channel. I'm back for another video. This time it is to do a story reading. I know Dumbo is kind of having a huge moment right now with the live action movie that's coming out, and I figured there's a lot of people who might not know the story of Dumbo, the original story of it. My niece and nephew are one of them. The movie's coming out and we are so excited to see it, but they've never seen the original Dumbo, so I was like, you know what? This might be a good time to bring out my book and read it to those of you who don't know the story. And for those of you who do know the story and appreciate it, then sit back and relax and allow me to read you Dumbo. And I'll try my very best to use teaching skills and to read and to show you the pictures. Dumbo. It was the first day of spring, and all the circus animals had received their babies, except for Mrs. Jumbo. Her baby elephant still hadn't arrived. Later that evening, Mr. Stork landed in the circus train with a very precious bundle. "It's Jumbo Jr., the other elephants cried. When the baby spread out his ears, the elephants couldn't believe their eyes. They were the biggest ears the elephants had ever seen. Because of his enormous ears, the other elephants renamed him Dumbo. Mrs. Jumbo ignored the taunts of the other elephants. She wrapped her trunk protectively around Dumbo and rocked him to sleep. Dumbo joined the circus, but he wasn't very well treated. Sadly, children teased him and grown-ups laughed at him. One day, some naughty children decided to pull on Dumbo's ears. Very nice. Mrs. Jumbo defended her son by standing on her hind legs and scaring the mean children away. When the circus owners saw this, they feared that Mrs. Jumbo might be dangerous, and they locked her up in a cage. Dumbo was all alone. The other fellow elephants told him that his big ears were an embarrassment to their species. But Timothy the Mouse was convinced that one day Dumbo would be a star. All Dumbo needed was a good circus act, so Timothy concocted a plan. While the ringmaster slept, the mouse snuck into his bedroom and whispered the idea into his ear. The next day, the ringmaster included Dumbo in the circus act. Unfortunately, Dumbo wasn't a very good performer. He tripped over his ears, knocking over the elephant pyramids. The circus tent collapsed. It was a disaster. Dumbo was no longer allowed to perform with the elephants and was forced to join the clown troupe instead. In Dumbo's new act, he had to leap from the window of a burning building while clown firefighters put out the fire. The audience roared with laughter when they saw Dumbo's big ears. That seems like a very dangerous circus act to me. Dumbo was terribly sad. His mother was still caged, and he was the outcast of the circus. "Don't worry, Dumbo," whispered Timothy. "One day, you'll soar above everyone." That evening, Dumbo dreamed that he was the star of the magic circus, and in his dream, he bounced high on a trampoline and flew through the air. The next morning, Timothy awoke to find 5 crows staring at him. "What are you doing up here?" asked the crows. He suddenly realized that he and Dumbo were in a tree. "You flew here," the crows told him. Dumbo tried to fly, but he fell into the water. "You can do it," cried Timothy encouragingly. But no matter how hard Dumbo tried, he couldn't seem to fly again. The crows took pity on Dumbo. "Use this magic feather," suggested one of the crows. "Hold it tight and it will help you fly." Dumbo gripped the magic feather in his trunk and jumped. Instead of falling, Dumbo was flying. He soared like an arrow over the hills and trees with the crows by his side. "We won't tell anyone you can fly," said Timothy. "We will surprise everyone in the show this afternoon." That afternoon, Dumbo prepared for his big act. "Good luck, Dumbo!" cried Timothy, who was perched in Dumbo's hat. As Dumbo jumped, he dropped the magic feather. He began to plummet full speed toward the ground. "It wasn't the feather that made you fly," the little mouse cried. "You did it on your own." Dumbo didn't believe him, but he spread his giant ears and he flew. Dumbo soared through the air over the astonished crowd, and the audience gave Dumbo a standing ovation. It was an incredible sight to see. The circus became very popular, all because of Dumbo. From that day on, Dumbo, his mother, and Timothy traveled all over the country as the stars of Dumbo's Flying Circus. The end. So that's the story of Dumbo. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you know this story, I hope that you just enjoyed listening to somebody else read it, because that's always a treat. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my story, and I will be back again soon, and I will see you all again.